Thank you.
Yeah, so I think that there's a few things that why loneliness has become more prominent. So if I talk about briefly some of the risk factors, the biggest risk factors for loneliness are losing your spouse or losing close friends, which as you age, people around you do start to die, and so your social network comes away. You also have major life events. You retire. In a lot of ways, that's a good thing, but for a lot of people, they don't realize that much of their social network and most of the people they know are through work.
That's right.
And so you suddenly just don't see people every day, and you're like, oh, well, now I have to make an effort, right? And so I think that's just a change from what most people have had for the last, let's say, 50 years of their life or 40 years of their life. And so it is just an adjustment. And then you have other issues that arise like disability. So if you start to lose your eyesight, suddenly you can't necessarily drive as well. Or if you have hearing impairment, there's certain limitations or mobility impairments. So it is a question of, can you actually get out to the activities that you once did? Can you still enjoy those activities? And so there's a number of risk factors. And those risk factors, they seem kind of consistent over time. I think why loneliness there's a couple of reasons I think that it's starting to become much more talked about. One is that we just all lived through lots of periods of isolation. And so suddenly everyone knows what it feels like to be at home for long periods of time. And so I think it has started affecting a much larger fraction of the population. And I can come back to COVID in a minute, but I think that it really has brought the idea of loneliness and, social interaction to the forefront. I think another thing is that people are much less likely to live near their families. And so this has happened over the last few generations, but kids move to different cities, they move to different countries. And so you aren't sort of in the same neighborhood as your entire extended family. And so this leads to more cases of loneliness as you retire, or if a spouse dies, something like that. And as well, when you're thinking about your social networks, you have these situations where if you have one parent die, then maybe the other parent goes to live near one of the kids. And so then they're basically being removed from their social network that they've had for
community.
Exactly, for a really long time.
Could be the butcher shop that they went to or the cafe that they met their friends. Yes, they're taken out of their network and social network. Yes.
Yeah, and I think that can be really challenging for older people. And I think you and I were talking about this before, remembering that actually making new friends and setting up a new routine takes a lot of time. And you just kind of, as you age, you forget that because you do it less frequently as you get older.